Hola, it's Gabby here for Crafty Gabby, and today we're going to make a Tilda doll in cardboard. This is a moving box. It's corrugated on the inside and it's very soft. I'm just going to show you here how I cut the pieces, and I'm going to show you how I guide myself to do this, you can say, picture. Uh, I'm cutting the cardboard very slow and do not press with force in the beginning. Just go little by little, cut 3 or 4 times in the same place, and then when you feel that the piece is loose enough to move, you lift the cardboard like I'm doing right now, and you go all the way to your X-Acto knife, and the way you pull the piece, and it's not going to be deformed. It's going to be it's not perfect, but it's in a very good shape. If you force the X-Acto knife, it's going to be deformed. As you see here, I'm showing you the picture that I plan to do. I made me a pattern or a sketch, and now I'm going to grab what is my base. I'm going to add newspapers, not because I want the newspaper to see, you don't going to see the newspaper. This is just going to do reinforce the cardboard. That way it's not going to be so flimsy, and it's going to be a little bit stronger. But if you want the newspaper to be noticed when you finish your product, just don't add too much color like I did in the base. I going to the doll. I don't going to add any newspaper. I'm just going to add tissue paper, and I'm going to add tissue paper in all the pieces. I cut all the pieces that I need from my sketch that I did. I'm going to add the little present, the hearts, the hat for the doll, the stars, the hands, everything. And when you cut them, leave a little bit of a border that you can. We're going to glue this to the doll to the way you don't look the cardboard on the side. When you glue it, I add the glue to the paper, not to the cardboard. It's easy because the cardboard is corrugated, and sometimes the glue is stuck in the holes and you don't do anything. But if you glue it to the paper, you are sure that all the pieces have glue, and you just press it around. This is a very easy to glue paper because it's very thin and it's very easy to manipulate. Even that is very easy to manipulate, do not touch it constantly, because it's you can your hands are sticky and the paper can come to your hands because it's a very delicate paper, but it's easy to work with. And using the skewers to help me in the intricate places, when it's finished, you just leave it to dry. As you see, I'm going to do all the pieces, and I'm going to show you here how to make a star, because a star is a little intricate and you can see it's no difficult at all. Just glue each point and then put the points that are left with only paper on the inside. Do not cut them. It's okay to glue them to the inside. I cut a little strip of the tissue paper because I have some pieces that the cardboard was showing. You can leave it like that, or you can. I didn't close all. Some of the pieces stay with the cardboard showing. I didn't care. We are not looking for perfect. We are looking for fun and to create with recycled material. And I leave some of the pieces showing part of the cardboard. As you see here, I'm going to do the same thing with my base. In the top of the new paper, adding some glue, and I'm going to place the base on the tissue paper. You can let it dry the way I leave the other pieces to dry, but in this case, I was just like kind of desperate to finish this project because I want to see how it looked like, and I dried this with a hair dryer. We're going to glue also the back of the base But in the video, I didn't finish this part. I plan to finish it with gesso and white acrylic paint. I'm going to show you a piece that I make after this one that is complete, is finished. These pieces are very light. When you finish them, if you want to hand them, you can just hand them with double-sided stick tape or double-sided foam tape or mounting tape, or you can buy those little triangles in metal that you put in the pictures frame. You just glue it because they are very light pieces. I'm using the gesso to add it to the newspaper. I add into the gesso a lot of water. I call it gesso, but I don't know if it's pronounced like that, but I call it gesso. I don't know if it's gesso. I don't know. Well, as you see here, I'm adding the gesso with a lot of water. I'm going to do this 3 times in this piece. After I finish adding the gesso, we're going to let it dry, and we're going to add gesso to all the pieces, the Tilda doll, the hearts, the balloons, everything have to have this, because these are going to be our base to color, to add colors to the pieces. When I'm adding color to the pieces, I'm going to use distress sprays inks. I think, yeah, distress sprays. I use this one for 3 reasons. I use them because I haven't used them since I bought them and I'm desperate to use them. I use them because they are a little bit translucent. And the third reason is because they are opaque. I want, even that I add shiny glitter, you will see that later on the base. I want them to have, for the dolls and for the other oils, a little bit of opaque look. And using here tea dye, that it looks like skin color, you can make this darker or lighter depending of what you want to accomplish. And don't forget the borders. I almost in several pieces forget the borders, and they don't going to look as nice because you will see the white paper in contrast with the color in the top. When you finish, I did this by parts. I didn't color all the pieces together. I was coloring little by little what I need. As you see here, I'm just adding splashes in a little bit darker color scheme to add like something similar like freckles. I did like the way it looked this, and I'm going to add the multimedia matte. This changed the color a little bit, but it was not significant because when it dries, it come back to the almost the color it has before. You will see the results in the, and you made your opinion if you want to use this or no. I did want to use the multimedia matte because I want to use the Indian ink, I think it's the Faber-Castell Indian inks to give a little bit of how you call the border blending dimension. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, it's called Artist Pen. Pit Artist Pen is what I use for this. As you see here right now, I'm making the dress. You saw how I trace the top part of the doll. You can do this more to have like you call this I don't know, but you fold it in the half and you cut the piece completely, and you have more I don't remember the word. I will remember later and I'll put it down there. Right now I'm just grabbing the hands of the doll, and I'm going to trace, because we're going to cut those pieces of the hand that we don't need, because we're going to glue them, because we don't going to glue the hands in the top or in the back of the doll. We're going to do like one layer thin, even if it's dimensional, it's just one layer. And I'm going to cut those pieces later on, you will see. Right now we're going to make the dress. For the dress I use this piece of fabric that I'm going to cut right now like this, and I'm going to leave it like this, and then I'm going to glue the whole thing in the back of the fabric. After it dries, we're going to trace the dress, and we're going to cut it. I cut the dress a little bit bigger for what I need, but I fixed it. I didn't think I felt that part, but I fixed it in the top. It was a little bit bigger. I'm going to add a zigzag. I tried to glue this zigzag with fabric glue and it didn't work. It's for that I grabbed the Yoo-hoo glue. It's a silicone glue and it was very easy. And you pull the size inside. That way you hiding. Now we're going to color the background or the base of this. And we're going to add gray on the bottom of the piece, just to add a little bit of the way the doll is not going to look like she's floating. But this part of the coloring, it get lost with all the coloring that I do in top of that. You can still see it like very fade, but you can still see it. I'm going to add colors randomly, colors here and there, no order, no anything. And I was looking for more pastel, nude colors. And I'm going to fix that experimenting, because I really didn't know what was going to happen. I know these colors move with glue or water or everything you put on top of them, but I didn't know how much they're going to move. But I did really like the last result that this gave me. I'm going to use my brush to cover a little bit here, a little bit there, where I think I need more color, that I don't want to leave those parts in blank. And after that, I'm going to sorry, I'm not going to erase anything. I'm going to dry with the blow dryer. I'm going to start adding more colors, more orange, and I'm also going to add purple. The purple, it was my least favorite color to add here, but even when the finished product, you will see it, it look good. Well, I don't know if it look good or it doesn't look at all, but you will see. The last product was nice. This, like I say, is me playing with my things, experimenting. I say, oh, let's add it, let me try this, let me try this. As you see here, it's dry, and now I'm going to add the multi-medium matte in here. And the colors are going to move a little bit. The color that moved the most was the yellow. The yellow, it was the one that moved the most. That's what I'm going to do right now. And after that, I still like it. I still the way it looks. You can leave it like this if you want stronger and shiny colors, but like I said before, I want more like nude colors, more pastels. And for some reason I didn't want to play with pastel, because in my mind I know that I have the gesso and I can mute the colors a little bit with that. And I don't know, that day I just want to play with my my stash, because so many things are going on right now. We have to be at home, and it's for that I'm doing this right now, because we can play with cardboard. Everybody have a box in their house. Everybody will have a piece of paper. I'm going to leave the size and the pattern of this doll. Probably I left also the sketch, but try to use your own imagination and make your own sketch. You can play with your kids and you can add whatever you want. You just need a box. You can use aquarellas, you can use color pencil, markers, whatever you have in your house to make this. You don't have to be exactly the same way I'm doing it. As you see, after the medium matte dry, I add in gesso, the same as before, with a lot of water. I was thinking the colors, they are don't going to move anymore because they already have a layer of multimedia that is like a glue. And I say, oh no, if I put the gesso in the top, the colors are not going to move. Well, the colors move. Like I say, the color that moved the most was the yellow. I dry that and I add a second layer of gesso. The colors also move. I think the colors get absorbed by the medium. They go through, I don't know, but it wasn't a bad, it was like a very good accident, we can say. And I know already what happened. The only thing that I recommend to you, and I'm going to say it when it happened, the way you notice, is an advice that I'm going to give you about the splashes. I add in these polka dots with the gesso also. Is less diluted with water, but after I didn't and I place everything that I place, you don't going to see them. So you can add them as you can add them. It's up to you. After the polka dots, I add splashes in black. I didn't add the splashes in the camera because the last time I added splashes in top of my table, I make a huge mess. And then I added the splashes in a box in the floor of my craft room. And then I add this Mod Podge, this called Sparkle, have a glitter, a little bit of glitter. Well, you need to add first the Mod Podge Sparkle or the multimedia matte, and then you need to add the splashes because it's acrylic. It was acrylic paint. It moved because it was in a no porous superficie. It moves. And I was like, oh, I didn't think the acrylics was going to move, but it did. As you see here, I already cut the arms, the pieces that I was planning to cut before. I cut them and I using the Indian ink to go around the doll to add a little bit of dimension, shades, different shade in the border of the doll. I cut the arms with a scissor. Don't do that because it breaks. The cardboard breaks. I didn't like it. It's for that I need to cut also the head. I did cut it with the Exacto. I'm going to show you how the arm looks. It breaks in several different places and I didn't like it. With the Exacto, it was perfect. I know when you put the dress in top of the arms, you're not going to see that, but if you want to have sometimes little details itching you, that bothers you. It's for that I recommend to do that with the Exacto knife. Now we're going to glue the doll. I glued the doll with white glue, the glue that what I use with my paper cards and everything, and it was fine. It was a little bit soft for drying, but it was fine. It's for that in some part of the video I changed the white glue for the Yoo-Hoo silicone glue, and I also use different mediums to glue stuff in the whole video. As you see here, these hands I'm going to glue them with white glue, but the other hands I'm going to glue it with the silicone glue. The silicone glue you have to wait for a little bit to get sticky. I mean, you add it and you leave it, and when it's opaque, it's ready, and it glue instantly, and it's no mess at all. If you glue it immediately after you apply it, it's a little bit messy, but if you let it rest for 15 seconds, 30 seconds, it's easy to glue and apply with no mess. Well, I glued the dress as you saw with the same glue, and it was very good. My least favorite piece that I made for this piece was the hat. I don't know what's happened to me that day with the purple, but I think the purple was bothering me for some reason. And I love purple. It's tiny, but it was my least favorite piece. I was thinking maybe to change it in yellow, but I already finished and it looked good, and I leave it like that. I add to the hat different pieces. I add stars, a pom-pom, silver chenille that I twist 3 times in itself, and I cut it in the dimension of the hat, and I glue it with the same silicone glue. And I'm going, like I say, I'm going to add tiny stars and a pink pom-pom in the top. The stars I glue it with the glossy accents that you see here, and the pom-pom I glue it with the silicone glue. Everything was depending what I was gluing. Now I'm going to do the balloons. I'm going to color one in red and one, or pinkish color, and one in blue. I find out, for me, is my opinion, that when you shake your distress sprays, it's better to do it when they are open and upside down. It's less splashes. When you shake them with the cap on, it's a little bit messy, in my opinion, in my experience that I have playing with these colors. I love them, but that's a little bit a problem when you shade them with the cap on. It's a little bit messy. And using the markers, Faber-Castell marker with Indian ink, because these balloons already have the color and already have the multimedia matte. All the pieces are made the same. Splashes with the distress ink sprays, then multimedia, and then a little bit of in the borders with the markers. I adding also to the stars a little bit of glitter. I'm going to do the doodles in the presents, but I don't going to use the dark green present because it was no space. I didn't want to put one thing in another because it was already a lot of dimension in this. But I'm going to use the rest of the presents. For decorative presents, I just using doodles, and later on we're going to use ribbons, thin ribbons, and ribbons of all kinds. But I don't complicate. Also, I add how do you call that? It's foil washi tape in the presents to add like it's part of the ribbon when you wrap them. And for the balloons, I add a string, wire string, and I will put it inside the doll hands with a needle. And it's going to be very easy because the cardboard is soft and inside is corrugated and have holes, and it's going to be very easy to do. And you can do it with both balloons. I just show one. I'm going to glue them with the same glue. It's the same process all the time. I'm going to try the strings of the balloon to stay down. And also I'm going to shape the strings of the balloon the way I want them to look. Adding tiny little drops of glue and gluing the string in the place that I want. You will see here. You can add more balloons, or you can put your background a little bit wider, and the balloons don't have to be outside the background. I did want this look. I want the scenes to be a little bit off the background of the picture. As you see there, I'm adding glue here and glue there to shape this string. And after that, I will going to cut what is, I didn't cut the whole thing. I leave stuff hanging, string hanging, that way it looks like she's holding the balloons and the string is falling out of her hands. In the case of the heart, I think I put the heart too low. But after I finished decorating, I put a star in that little hole and it looked good. But instead of heart, you can hang a piñata if you want. Or you can have whatever you want. I just want this this piece to be busy, very busy. I like pieces like that. I like to add, and don't have a place where I can add not even a sentiment. You can add a sentiment in this too if you need the space. Now I adding the star here and there. I know no order, just where I think they look good. And like I say, for this glue, you need to wait a little bit. It's for that I put them up and then I turn them down where they have to be. That's the way to for me to keep the order where I put them before, because normally when I put them to see the order that I want them and I take them out, I forget the order. It's for that I leave it in the same place where I want them. As you see here, I make a bow and with purple, that way it match her hat, and I'm going to add 3 buttons, one in pink, one in purple, and one in yellow. I'm using my pastel chalks to add the blush for the doll, and with black acrylic paint I'm going to add their eyes, tiny eyes. I don't going to add a mouth or nose or anything. And also I think she need hair. The hair was very easy because I just used brown acrylic and I didn't do it perfect. I leave the strings that wasn't paint, and that way it looked like she have highlights. And don't forget to color the borders. I know I said before, but I forget, and maybe you too, if you want to do something like this. I'm going to glue a tiny star in the bow, and I'm also going to color her shoes in a similar color of the dress, matchy matchy, the way I like it. Also, when I finish coloring the shoes, I'm going to apply a glossy accent to the shoes. I'm sorry I didn't feel that, but the shoes in the final thin product have glossy accent. And I'm going to also add 2 tiny white pompons. You can add a star, you can add flowers, or whatever you want. I also making this Tilda doll in cardboard because some people like the Tilda doll, but they don't like to sew. They don't want to have the sewing machine and stuff out. Make it like this. You don't have to sew. I like to sew, and I made some Tilda dolls in fabric also, but I didn't want to sew right now. It's for that also I'm making this doll in cardboard. As you see, I'm gluing the bows in the presents. One pink, one orange, and one blue flower. It's in the top. The one in the blue is not a bow. It's a flower that comes in a string. I adding details with my white gel pen. Here and there, no perfect. I don't apply because the light or anything. I just playing with my gel pen. I did it. Also, I add with the Indian ink. I add around the doll, helping myself with a brush, because you cannot reach with your fingers so close to the doll. I didn't apply in the whole thing, just also here and there, just where I think the doll need a little bit of dimension or shadowing or blending thing. It was not perfect. Well, the picture is finished, and I'm going to show you right now more closely the details, and I'm also going to show you the one that I finished. The one that I finished is different. You don't have anything going outside the frame, and I framed the doll with more cardboard. I finished the back with black paint. Here it is. She's in the beach, I put seashells, a star, flip-flops, a towel, fishes, and cheese a swimming suit. Well, I hope you like this project. Thank you for watching my videos. Until next time, goodbye.